Hey y'all, coming at you from the hills, doing a little walk and talk trial, I guess. But I don't know if you're aware of what's going on in the world, quite a bit. But something to think about. Even all of those people that, maybe still live in a city and are trying to do the backyard garden thing, trying to get a little more self-sufficient, which everybody should, because, shouldn't be reliant on anyone other than yourself as much as possible. But I just wanted to pose a little bit of a question that maybe not everybody has thought about, even if you're on a well. There's been a lot of talk and stories coming out that a lot of corporations, Walmart, and anything that's, the gates are involved in, are buying up a bunch of land on top of major aquifers around the country. And they are already talking in California of putting meters on people's private wells and making them pay that for the water that most people assume, well, if I have a well, I don't have to pay for water because it's free, it's in the ground. Until they buy that aquifer and decide that they want to meter it, and they will. And I don't think there's any coincidence that they're hiring 87,000 new IRS workers to audit, to catch up on that. But how else do you think that they would put that as far as metering if the government, let's set aside the private buying of the aquifers, but just the government putting it on your own private well right now, it's going to be in the form of a tax. And who enforces the tax other than the IRS? Something else you all may not know, which I hope you do, that the IRS over the past several years has been buying millions and millions of rounds of ammunition, millions of dollars worth of firearms, which, why would the IRS need to do that? I'll let you think about it. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying with all the, backyard, off-grid farmers or whatever it is, what are you going to do when you turn on your hose and nothing comes out? How easy do you think it's going to be to get out of that situation once they've already put a meter on it and turned it off? I mean, if you live in a city, in a neighborhood where you're getting city water, that could happen tomorrow. But maybe go into this. There's I don't know if all, I'm sure some of you are, most hopefully, are aware of how a well and an aquifer works. When you drill down, you tap into an aquifer, which is, I guess you could call it an underground lake, but it's, it's water trapped in stone. And as you suck out that water, it starts to draw down on the aquifer. And then the more wells that get drilled and the more they pull down, it's almost like a funnel effect on each one. And as that goes down, it gets lower and lower, causing wells to have to be drilled deeper and deeper. So what happens when these major corporations or private interest groups or whatever you want to call them decide that they're going to drill all the way down to the bottom of that aquifer and start pumping out massive amounts of water and put them into storage tanks or, reservoirs and such like that? They're going to draw down those aquifers to where even if you did want to try and do some sort of, sorry, I'm getting wrapped up in all kinds of spider webs walking through the forest here. But even if you try and, do a pirated or whatever, if you will, well, without anybody knowing, without, pulling all their permits and all the shit that they want, what are you going to do when that aquifer's so far down, it's too exorbitantly expensive for any normal person to get down there? What are you going to do then? I think it's something to think about. And it's one of those things that you should be prepared for, because they have been saying it for years. This is what they're planning to do. A lot of people think if you don't see all of these steps between A and Z on how they're going to get through the Great Reset and get you all onto their system, into their smart cities, and it's going to be through famine and thirst. They're going to starve you out, they're going to take your water away, and they're going to take your livelihood away, so that way you beg them to help you. And that shouldn't be the case. You should never ask them for help. You should take matters into your own hands. Get out into nature. Get out of the city. Get yourself something to where you can start being more self-sufficient. Rain collection is a big one. If you get out there, natural springs, if you can't find land, get out of deserts or places that aren't supposed to sustain life, even though we like to think that, you know, we're masters of this world and we can just turn it into what we want. But there are natural processes that and natural cycles that the earth goes through that just make those places not a real solid place to live if you are, you know, if they decide to turn off the spigot, if you will. Really just start realizing that this comfort that a lot of people been getting accustomed to is coming to an end. But because they've made you so comfortable, they're going to make you think that they are the only option to save you from the problem that they created. So, I guess what I'm getting at is all you people need to stop looking for a savior and start realizing that the only person that's going to save you is you. The only person that's going to save you is the one staring back in the mirror. So you have to take matters into your own hands. Because who else is going to do it? Nobody is going to put your best interest before theirs. Especially the ones that are in control at this point. So, do what you can to get off of the system, get out of the cities, get back to a more natural form of life, get outside in the sun and the fresh air, start looking up at the sky, take your shoes off, put them in the dirt, ground yourself out, kind of just get off the teat, get back to nature, and you know, hopefully, if I think that's the only way, that if people don't do that, there's no saving this. There's no way for me to teach you responsibility. You have to learn it on your own. Responsibility, able to respond. That's another thing. Look into what the base meaning of words are. What that truly means. I mean, obviously the first one that comes to mind for me is anarchist, which the general public, and they have done this for a reason, making people think that an anarchist just wants chaos. But anarchy simply means without rulers. Because we don't need rulers. A man can rule himself, and he should rule himself, and only himself. And if everyone took the responsibility of taking care of themselves, instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing or what anybody else can do for them, then guess what? Problem kind of resolves itself, because nobody is reliant on somebody else for them to live. That is the greatest sin, if you will, is relying on someone else to provide for your well-being. It should be you. And if it's not you, you better find a way to make it you, because it's about to get much worse.